Emmanuel Amunike has scored for Nigeria. Goal that wins the first ever footballing gold medal for Nigeria. Joshua,
to continue their impressive run to place Edo State in the continental map.
Toby Amazon, look at the clock. I cannot believe it. She's done it again. 2 world records in one night. And she makes history by becoming Nigeria's first world champion.
Alex Iwobi decides to go early. Chukwueze shapes the shoot, gets some space. It's Osimhen.
Yes, at this time, it is safe to say Nigeria's flag may not be hoisted at the 2026 FIFA World Cup after the Bafana of South Africa punches the hopes of the Eagles to get back on track. But as they say, the Nigeria spirit would continue to soar regardless the adversity. On this note, I will say welcome to another entertaining episode of Sportsville. So much making the rounds in the world of sports, and we are so excited to be back on this amazing platform to discuss solely, most importantly, I would say, the Super Eagles. Where exactly should we go from here? What is truly the way forward? The top guys are back in the studio. Raymond Akpare is here, as well as the ever delectable Joy Obayemi, known as Puja. And we also have the big man himself back in the studio with us, Frank Ilabuya. And together we are set to sail. We do a breather, and when we return, we sail proper. Stick around.
Keep watching Sportsville.
Yes, welcome back. We are truly fired up to be back. Ladies and gentlemen, if you just joined us, you haven't missed much because we are just getting started. The show is Sportsville. I told you the guys are also back in the studio. Raymond Akpare, it feels great to have you back.
Yeah, so good to be here. And when it is Sportsville, you can be sure we say it as it has to be said.
And also the most charming, ever delectable Joy Obayemi. She's also fired up once again to be part of the show.
Yes, it's another exciting moment. I hope I came with the excitement. But anyways, we still have to keep hope alive and think about way forward for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. I'm happy to be in the studio once again.
And you know, when he's around, everyone is surely fired up to give their best. The master himself, Frank Ilabuya, is with us today in the studio. Frank, feels great to have you back.
Thank you so much, Matthew. It's nice to be back on the show once again. I want to thank you all guys for keeping the flag flying. And today I think it will be another exciting moment for us.
Interesting. And talking about excitement, we're looking at the fallout from the Eagles World Cup qualifying fixtures. On Tuesday, the hopes were punched further by the Bafana of South Africa. Raymond, let's look at the fallout from that fixture. Quickly, your take. How did we get here?
It's an old story, the same poor administration. That's how we found ourselves here. When we are talking about excitement, I don't know where the excitement is coming from. But for those who really love the Super Eagles, you are bound to feel pains on your bones. And we feel pain on our bones at moments because we're struggling against teams like Lesotho, like teams against Rwanda, against Benin Republic, and the rest of them. So it's really painful. But how we got here is just because of poor administration, poor players' attitude, poor coaching, and even to some extent to some form of hypocrisy on part of the media who have refused to say it the way we say it on Sportsville here.
Very interesting. Joy, let's look at some of the systemics. Some persons are calling out the players, the commitment on the part of the players, and as well the quality of the manager himself. Look at these two areas. Will you say you exonerate these persons from where we are this time?
Matthew, to be honest, I feel pity for some of these players. In fact, all of them, I feel pity for them because it's not easy to play under 3 different coaches. Each coach comes with their own ideology, philosophy, tactics. It's not easy to adapt. And most of the games these players played under different coaches are crucial games. So imagine coming into a classroom, you're already familiar with your teacher. The next minute, somebody else walk in. It takes you time for you to adjust. It's just that the players had no time to adjust to new tactics from Eric Chell. I don't really blame the coach so much because truly we have exposed him. He already even showed us the exact capacity he has after the Chan disappointment. Yes. We should know that he's not capable. He will not be capable to handle the quality, the kind of players we have. Home base, foreign base, no way he can handle them. And it's not about question of talent. We have both raw talent and we have both refined talent. When you talk about our players playing abroad, they are refined. And coming back home, we already have our home-based players who are not really refined, but they are still good. We can still work on them to get the best results. But when you have a poor manager, when you have someone that does not have the tools, it's just like putting a mechanic to do a doctor's job is bound to fail. It will fail. There's no way you can get any reasonable result out of that. So I do not blame the players. I blame the coaches, from the technical crew to the administration. I blame all of them for toiling with these players.
The destiny of Nigeria.
Of course. So it's so sad to see where we have found ourselves. Yes, I was going to call out the captain because you cannot do back-to-back error. These are games that we were expected to pick our 3 points. So Chris Ekong, for me, I think I feel bad for him because he played so well during the AFCON. Yeah. But I think 1 year or 2 years down the line is so much time for any player to dip, in performance or increase your performance. But age and time is not on his side. So at the end of the day, when you look at he's not mobile, he's not too strong to stand the weight at the speed of the South Africans. So for me, it was an error for him. But back to back is not an excuse, to be honest.
Let's talk about administration. Thank God we have Frank Ilaboya here in the studio. Frank, the politics, some persons will tell you that the politics of football is even greater than what happens on the pitch of play. The politics of the game, in terms of administration, did we truly do our due diligence?
Well, Matthew, I want to look at the problem Super Eagles in 2 ways, okay? First of all, I want to start from where Joy stopped, talking about the players. See, if you look at our matches from the qualifying, the first day we started our qualifying review, you see any character in these players. You see a player that are hungry to pick a World Cup ticket. Let us be very clear. We struggle against Zimbabwe. We struggle against Lesotho. We struggle against Rwanda. When these draws were made, would any of us here, think that we would have been where we are today? No. I think the players, for instance, there is no passion. There's no passion. It's not about having different coaches. I just think there's lack of passion. There's lack of character. To me, this is one of the most indisciplined teams we've ever had. I keep mentioning to you. Yes. You see players go for training. They go with their gadget. Even to take a simple walk that will give you concentration, they go with their gadget. It is not done anywhere. Could any of these players do what they are doing Super Eagles, their club? Let us face it. To me, I think we lost it because these players are not hungry, we lack character, we lack passion. That is one. Secondly, I also want to talk about the issue of administration. Like Joyce said, we have changed coaches, about 4 coaches in less than 2 years. It's like a woman changing her wrapper. How do you perform in such an environment? Even getting these coaches is something difficult for NFF to do. From Roy to Pissarro, from Pissarro to Finidi to Guavoy, and now to Eric Schell. Look at the gap between, appointing those coaches. What will you ask a coach to do within 2 months? Within 2 months, it's not possible. I was just going through the profile of Hugo Bruce. Yeah. He joined South Africa in May 2001. When he joined,
5 years now.
Yeah, almost 5 years. When he joined, I don't think anybody heard of him. But consider the team is having a character now.
Now, mocking Nigeria now. Nigeria in this
our administration should also understand that coaches need time to blend. Eric Chell is not a magician. If you bring the best coach in the world to Super Eagles today, with the present setup, we'll be where we are. Okay? Let us be patient wherever we bring. and let us be able to get forward. That is what I want to say. So going forward, without even blinking an eye, I think if we don't want to have further pains in December, January, during Christmas and New Year, if we don't want to have pains again,
Nations Cup, not World Cup now.
No, World Cup to me is over.
Okay.
I'm looking ahead. Yes. If we don't have that type of pains when people are celebrating, allow this young man to remain. So that he can finish the job, whether good or bad. Otherwise, if it's okay, go today, like most people are saying, which I don't support, it will take us 3 months to get a new coach. And that's going to be at the eve of the Nations Cup. Yeah. So allow this young man to finish this year and let us, so that we don't have much pain in December. It will be too painful. When people are celebrating Christmas, then we are crying.
Raymond, in few words.
Well, I have so much to say on this Eagles.
Yes.
You said few words.
Yes.
But the truth is that there's nothing I will say that I have not said before.
Yes.
Maybe people be wondering when I say again.
Say it again.
Sack the NFF board now.
Raymond has always been.
I've always said, I said sack the NFF board now. What business we have with Eric Sekuchel and even the players if we have the right board of the NFF? They say NFF board through the time of Amadou Pinnick, who abandoned our league and started bringing players from academy in Europe. Any money he has, Nigerian money, he will go ahead to Europe and bring players in academy, foreign base and all of that, so that emphasis will not be on Nigerians in diaspora. And thereby forgetting the Nigerian Premier League, the league that produced quality players many years ago.
Yes.
We'll talk about Super Eagles players. We'll talk of Dobo complaining about that pitch in South Africa. We'll talk of Clement Temile complaining about pitch in South Africa. We'll talk about quality players. But when you place emphasis on half-baked players, when you bring arbitrators or you allow arbitrators who are not even popular, I must tell you, I don't mean to insult him. If I see Sanusi here, I might not recognize him because he's not popular. What kind of, the NFF, Frank, the NFF board, the typical NFF we used to know some years ago. Some IRC is in board of NFF. The IRC we knew at Yimba. It's not the IRC of today. I think he's just enjoying himself there. We're talking about people who can move Nigerian football forward. Remember this board that even gave Philippe George 2-year contract and came out to tell us they gave him 1-year contract and the federal government did not sack him. They didn't sack the NFF board that even told Nigerians lies. The same NFF board that worked against players in Cote d'Ivoire, worked against the coach in Cote d'Ivoire, who lost to Cote d'Ivoire on a neutral ground, and we are still letting them there. They are still making us believe that in October we are going to beat Benin Republic. So Benin is not a problem of Nigeria. Federal government must wake up and sack this board. Nothing will happen if the NFF board is sacked today.
Super interesting. I must tell you, we are truly all fired up. You could see the pain. Raymond Akpare is saying it's just the way it is. Let's join Nengi Ernest Ademola in this report where she chronicles Nigeria's possible route to the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
Welcome to Sportsville News Train. I am Nengi Ernest Ademola. Today we're looking at a possible path for the Super Eagles to the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Nigerian football fans may want to keep hope alive as the permutations continue in the Super Eagles World Cup qualifying race, as it seemed all hopes were lost after their 1-1 draw against the Bafana Bafana of South Africa in Bloemfontein on Tuesday. The Eagles' possible route to the 2026 Global Showpiece is now anchored on variations, prayers, and calculations. One possible option is for the team to win the remaining 2 matches, one away to the already eliminated Lesotho in South Africa, and the other a home match with Benin, a serious candidate. If Nigeria wins their remaining 2 matches with high goal margin and South Africa lose theirs, the consequence is that the Super Eagles will top the Group C table. The high scores proposed will enable them overturn the goal difference advantage South Africa have in the event of equality in points if South Africa should lose their remaining matches to the already eliminated Zimbabwe and contending Rwanda. Alternatively, by winning the 2 matches with high scorelines and South Africa topping the table, the Super Eagles would get to their possible maximum of 17 points and could rank among the top 4 groups runners-up owing to the anticipated high goal difference. That way, they go through the long route of continental and intercontinental playoff. This scenario is akin to winning the lottery twice, extremely unlikely. Aiming to rank high among the possible groups runner-up look a more likely option, but this part is also hugely challenging. Even with maximum points, which is 17, Nigeria would still trail teams like Gabon, Madagascar, Congo, Burkina Faso, Cameroon, and Uganda. Gabon already have 19 points and thus are short of a playoff slot. So, only 3 slots are available for contests. The duo of Madagascar and DR Congo already have 16 points and thus closer to obtaining a playoff ticket than Nigeria. Yet another 4, Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Namibia and Uganda are already on 14 points. Namibia still have an arithmetical chance of topping the Group H even with their current 14 points. The same applies to Group E current second place team, Tanzania, who incidentally have 10 points. In summary, Nigeria's path is laced with landmines. The Super Eagles will need heavy goal margin wins in the 2 matches and hope South Africa lose their own 2 against Zimbabwe and Rwanda. Should that happen, Nigeria, South Africa and Benin will finish equal on 17 points and goal difference will be the tiebreaker. The 17-point projection for Benin is based on their possible defeat of Rwanda in Kigali. Should that happen, Nigeria, South Africa and Benin will finish equal on 17 points and goal difference will be the tiebreaker. The 17-point projection for Benin is based on their possible defeat of Rwanda in Kigali. Nengi Ernest Ademola reporting for Sportsville News Train.
Keep watching Sportsville.
Yes, you're welcome back. The road lays with mice. Those are the words of Nengi Ernest Ademola. The roads, as far as the 2026 FIFA World Cup is concerned, the Super Eagles at this time must do all they can to ensure that they win and win convincingly and pray. Frankie Labaya.
Well, first of all, let me thank Nengi for a wonderful package. To me, I don't want to say that she's wasting her time, but it's okay. Because as far as I'm concerned, this World Cup ticket is over. See, let us be very clear with ourselves. See, she mentioned one word that I put there, say high score margin.
Yes.
High score margin. Where will it come from? You know, how many matches have we played now? Where we managed to just So where would this high score margin come from?
Yeah.
You know, so like I said, you know, I remember in those days the former director in the sports, Minister of Sports, Dr. Amos Adamu. So when you call foul head, the foul will still be shaking.
Yeah.
Why is dead? To me, that is where we are now. Okay, let us accept where we are. See, if it comes, well, miracle can always happen anytime, but to me, I think this is all over. Let us be very clear with ourselves and begin to prepare for the Nations Cup. You know, by December, the pay will be much, deeper. Yeah. If at this time of celebration, we are mourning. That is just my...
Joy, your take?
Yes,
Nigeria's chances.
Bro,
the odds, you could see from that, you could see from that report, the odds are absolutely against us.
But to be honest, it's so disheartening where we have found ourselves. And if we keep lying to ourselves, we keep pretending that there's a way out. I don't know. For the past last games that we've played, I've zoomed out of the World Cup qualifiers, to be honest, because truly it's difficult already. So with all this permutation, calculation from Nengi, out of 9 teams, we are even 8 on that log. So where do we want to get the high scoring from? Number one, we have been struggling to even score during this game.
Yes.
So where are we going to get about 10 goals from? See, when Benin Republic played Zimbabwe, they scored 4-0 in just few seconds. They were leading 3-0. So when you watch teams like that, you don't want to pray for their downfall. It's already an evil thought to be thinking that those people that have put in the work that they should fall by the wayside. No, I don't like that kind of a success story. Look at the way our Super Falcons played the final against Morocco.
Yes.
Oh my God. 2 goals down. They dug deep, came back, won that game in a very difficult terrain. They were playing
against the crowd.
Against the player. It was a difficult situation, but they came out tops. These are the characters you want to see, the fighting spirit. There's no fighting spirit in the Super Eagles of Nigeria. You can maybe count 1 or 2 players, but it's a team game. So for me, I just think let's focus on the AFCON and forget about the World Cup.
Yes, Raymond is fired up. He has something to say, but at this time, former Nigerian international Mikel Obi has called for the sack of the board of the Nigeria Football Federation should the Super Eagles fail to qualify for the World Cup. Let's hear Mikel Obi in his Obi-Wan podcast.
Now I feel for the people of my country. I feel for people in Nigeria because they're going to be devastated right now. Again, for the second time running, we're not going to qualify for the World Cup.
Does anything change if you don't?
Oh, mate, it has to.
Yeah.
It has to. If we don't make it to the World Cup, if we don't qualify, I just think the whole board of the NFF, they need to go. They need to go. Sorry, they have to go. If we don't qualify for the World Cup, the whole board of the NFF, because it's not acceptable.
No.
Twice in a row, we're not going to qualify for the World Cup. We are the biggest footballing country in Africa. The biggest. I don't care what anybody says. Mo Salah, Egypt, whatever. I don't care. Nigeria is the biggest. When it comes to African football, when it comes to Africa, we're the biggest. I don't care what anyone says. So, twice in a row, we don't qualify. Something is wrong. Yeah. Something is wrong. A drastic change has to be done. Has to be done. The government, if the government want to get involved, they have to get involved. They have to get involved. They have to get involved because it's not acceptable. If we don't qualify second time in a row, it's not acceptable. Yes, the players have to take responsibility, but the biggest problem is from the top.
Keep watching Sportsville.
Yes, the biggest problem is from the top. The words of former Nigerian international, former Super Eagles captain Mikel Obi. Raymond.
Apparently the second person to say so. Remember, former captain, former coach Sunday Olise had long said the NFL should give way too. These are things we said long time ago. But because the federal government seems to be joking with what we say here, that's why Nigerians are going through this pain. I really sympathize with a young generation of Nigerian journalists and even most of the fans there. I followed at least 4 key qualifiers for World Cup. And the approach towards World Cup qualification is not the way we are doing it now. It was a real serious business in time past. You want to talk about Taribo West time? You want to talk about the time of Amadou Shaibu? You want to talk about the time of Clement Vesterhoff? Are you seeing same spirit now? It's not enough that maybe you are following, you have the privilege of being carried for an away game. And when the NFL blunders, you will not even say it properly to your countrymen, where Nigerians are dying. A Catholic told me 2 days ago that I should not even bother to tell you about Super Eagles, that his doctors told it to avoid anything Super Eagles for now.
Wow.
And that's a summary of how it is going on everywhere in the country. Many people are disappointed. This is the worst set of egos, the worst set of administration we've had in Nigerian football. And if you don't say it that way, you're not helping Nigerian football. But I must tell you, before I leave, I have other things I will support as far as World Cup is concerned.
Keep watching Sportsville.
Yes, the final lap of the show, but not plenty to truly celebrate as far as the 2025 World Wrestling Championship is concerned from the Nigerians' perspective, as the Croatian government has failed to issue visas to Nigerian wrestlers. Joy, another talk, another day, another talk as far as how athletes are being treated.
Is that also football now?
Not football, wrestling, the systemic problem. Remember last week on the show, we had something on boxing, where we had Omo Agege come to speak on it.
Matthew, is same old story every now and then. Remember, recently we also had athletes who were denied visa to China to compete.
Yes.
And now, so it's the same thing. You know, when Boss has said it is a systemic problem. And when we don't address issues from the roots, we'll keep, pampering and rubbing the head of, whatsoever we have there. But it's a problem that must be dealt with from the grassroots, from the roots. We are wasting talent. We are wasting the time. Athletes and, athletes, they have time frames. And once they lose that prime time, there's nothing you can do to revive that kind of performance again. So it's disheartening to see that our athletes are suffering from these visas issues week in, week out.
These are athletes that have always international status. They are not a first-time visa applicant.
Yes.
What does that tell you? What does that tell you?
Very interesting. We'll go on a break, and when we return, we'll be saying our byes at the other side.
Keep watching Sportsville.
Yes, that's the size of the show for today. Remember, the conversation continues across all our social media platforms on your screen at this time. We'll keep talking sports 24/7. I'm Matthew Kugbe. We'll see you next week. We say all the best to the Super Eagles.
Emmanuel Amunike has scored for Nigeria. Goal that wins the first ever footballing gold medal for Nigeria.
To continue their impressive run to place Edo State in the continental map.